Hey, hey, it's your girl Emonie Ellison Earl, and you are listening to Two Mics Up.
Double O seven.
What's happening, everybody? It's your man Dame D NYDC. This is Two Mics Up. This is another Magic Monday, and today we are going to be joined by an amazing sister, an amazing guest. She has talent, talent in abundance, and I'm really honored, and it's a privilege to be able to have her join me here on the other mic today. And we're going down to New Orleans. We're gonna go ahead and hang out, getting ready. Wish it was Mardi Gras time. I really be excited, but we're gonna get there. But she's bringing that energy, is what I'm saying. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, joining me today on the other mic is the amazingly talented Imani Ellison Earl. Imani, how are you doing
Hey,
today?
I'm good. How are you, Damon?
I'm blessed. I'm feeling good. I got you here, got your smile, got your energy, and you have an amazing background because we always have to start in the beginning.
Yeah,
And your background really says a lot because where you are now is not really where you originated from.
yeah.
However, there was a transition at that time. So give us some background information about who Imani Ellison Earl is, where she's from, how we ended up in New Orleans, and what is she doing when she's not acting and she's not performing for us in front of a stage or an audience.
Yeah, a little backstory. I'll try to keep it kind of short. I did the whole college thing. I've always been a creative, a little bit of a drama queen. So, growing up, I did a little bit of theater, but I wasn't like a theater person. In hindsight, I wish I would have explored that more. But they have those auditions and stuff that they put out about audition for Disney Channel this and blah 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 blah. And so I did that, but I lived in Kansas City. So my parents were
Oh,
divorced. My mom lived in Kansas City and my dad lived in Louisiana. My family's actually from Louisiana, which is how I came back to my roots, but we'll get
okay,
there.
okay.
Um, and so I did that growing up. My dad really wanted me to go to college and I wanted to be a nurse. I have a servant's heart anyway, but when you're young, you want to try to go with what your parents say or what they want
Yeah,
you to do and such. And
right,
so that seemed like a stable job and like
right.
a good way to go. But anyway, school is not really my thing. um I I actually I went back and forth to a few different colleges. I ended up in Houston. I went to Texas Southern for a little bit, and then I went to U of H. No acting in any of that, just
Wow.
school and life. And so then life was life, and I ended up getting on academic probation.
All right.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Hey, don't
And
feel
so
bad.
my dad,
We have a similar story. So go ahead. I understand
hey,
because
hey,
sometimes
honesty is key, okay?
there you go. There you go.
And so my dad was like, I mean, either you come here to Louisiana or you go back to Kansas City. And I was enjoying Houston at the time. So I was like, oh, it's just a jump, skip, and a hop. I was a road runner, so it was
Right.
no big deal. And so I moved here to Louisiana. Um, I was searching on the web one day. I was like, oh, like I know Louisiana, New Orleans has a lot of acting. I don't even
Hmm.
know where that came upon me because again, I hadn't been doing anything in that creative realm in a long time.
Wow. Wow.
And so I don't know what I was looking at. There used to be a acting school in New Orleans called Launch Model and Talent.
Hmm.
And they did like modeling and acting and different things. And so I assume one late night I filled out one of their little information forms, and one of the ladies called me back. Now years and years, I think in middle school or high school, I did something called Barbizon. I'm not sure if
Mm,
you're familiar or have ever
mhm,
heard of
mm.
it.
Yeah.
Um, we thought it was something like to get an agent or like get in
Mhm.
front of agents. That's not what it
And
is.
what it
So
was, nope.
anybody watching, if you ever come upon Barbizon, it's
Nope.
like it's supposed to be like a confidence booster builder type thing. I didn't need that, but we didn't know that that's what it was. So we spent a lot of money, um, on something that I didn't necessarily need. But anywho, so I was a little skeptical of this because it was a school, so you had to pay
Right,
money as well.
right.
um, Anywho, fast forward, I do all the things. I go to the classes. It was amazing school. Met some really, really awesome acting coaches. Terrence Rosemore, Nicole Beret,
Wow.
Billy Slaughter, um, all awesome actors as well.
Yep, yep.
Um, Anywho, they didn't make it through COVID, so
Oh, wow.
eventually, unfortunately, launch is no longer. But through launch, there's something called Industry Network,
Mhm.
and that's out in LA. I went to Industry Network. That is where you get in front of agents, casting directors from all over. You do have to
Right.
pay money,
Yeah, right.
um, but your craft is an investment anyway.
It is.
So I think a lot of times people forget that. You are
Mhm.
the product, and you do have to invest in the product,
That's
and it
right.
does take finances to do that.
That's right.
So anywho, I came back. I got an agent. Back then, it was Clear Talent Group South. There's a really, really big agency, Clear Talent Group, out in LA. There was a South region of that. She no longer is Talent Group South. She's actually Beck Talent. But
Okay.
anywho, that was my first agent.
That's what's up.
Fresh out the gate, I booked two jobs. Body Cam was one of them,
That's
and NCIS New Orleans. So those were the
mhm.
first jobs that I ever booked back to back, and I was like, "This is awesome,"
Awesome.
because I was new, and you don't really hear of that. You don't
Mhm.
really get
That's
that
right.
being a newbie, fresh out the game, booking
That's right. Two
two
jobs.
big roles really. um NCIS was, I didn't know at the time that my scene was focused heavily on me,
Right.
but that was a blessing,
That's
because
right.
it looks great on my reel.
That's right.
And it's opposite of Scott Bakula, which is
Yeah.
the main character, and
Right.
then Body Cam was a great opportunity as well because it was opposite of Mary J.
Come
Blige.
on now. But I do want to
Mhm.
transition too because we also called Different Worlds, where you play Shannon.
Yeah.
Now, it's a little bit of a different role. Shannon was an alcoholic, let's just say. She had a drinking problem. But
Yeah.
I'm curious to know if you like, as you balance, because you get all of these different roles that are thrown your way. And how do you prepare for a role like that requires you portraying something specific, like an emotional state or an addiction or a condition that may not be yours, right? Like, let's just
Yeah.
be real, and to bring that to life, like, how do you get into that prep role mentally to bring that to life?
I think for me, it's honestly a case by case basis. Um, Depending on what it is or what I'm portraying, I may look up videos of other people and kind of watch their mannerisms of
Right.
how they are acting when they are this or that. In this case, intoxicated, or I wasn't like a big drinker growing up. So I've never been like, super knowledgeable about what that looks like or what that feels like.
Right.
But I really think pulling from reality, and
Mm.
I know what it feels like to be tipsy. I know what it feels like to kind of be out
Right.
of your body, but in your
Right.
body. Um, so kind of just really leaning into that and really. I don't know if I don't know if you've ever done this before, but if you really convince yourself
Oh
and
yeah.
really tell yourself something, you will start to
Got to
feel
feel it.
that
Mm-hmm.
you are whatever that
Mm-hmm.
is.
Yep.
Now you have to be careful depending on what that is that you're going to, but
That's right.
I think for me, and I'd say I'm different than some people. I mean, I take acting classes and stuff like that, but a lot of my preparation for any role is really one, just mostly being myself,
Mm-hmm.
and then out of myself, stepping into the attributes and the characteristics that I feel is then Shannon, or is
Right.
then, Monique, or is
Right.
then whatever the character role name
Right.
is. Um, and then feeling and exploring in my head, what does that look like, and what does she feel like, and what does she act like, and what is her
Right.
backstory. And so a lot of it is very internal for me.
Right.
A lot of people like to take pen to paper and write it out and read a bunch of books and blah blah blah. A lot of mine is like pulled from life and just
Mm.
watching other people.
Mhm.
Um, and then, my own experiences. And then if I need to go the extra to watch or research,
Then you do that.
I do that to
Yeah.
then add to what I've already built for my
Mm.
character as their backstory, or as, their characteristics as whoever they are.
I love that. And and I have to ask then too, because the two mediums are different. Film and TV are
Yeah.
two different mediums, right? Because
Yeah.
like you mentioned, seeing yourself on NCIS, and playing that really was a dominant role, dominant character.
Yeah.
Um, like how do you approach that since the two are different? Because sometimes even whether it be a short appearance or sometime maybe even a recurring appearance in a show, that has to be a different approach, I would think, than a film, which is maybe takes longer, but it's really condensed, like a storyline. It's really
Yeah.
condensed. So how was your approach when it comes to film and TV? How do they differ?
To be honest, for me, I don't really feel like they
Okay.
differ.
Okay.
Because for me the preparation is the same.
Mm.
Um, I haven't yet reached my mark of being a lead or a substantial role in a film,
Mm-hmm.
or a reoccurring role on a television show. But for me, I think ultimately the character development part would be initially the same.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if we're talking about, a role that has more substance, more lines and scenes and such, the work that you've already done, for me, I feel like can only be developed more as you learn who your co-stars are, what their
Yeah.
personalities are, because a lot of that stuff, for me at least, is you can only develop so much. And
Yeah.
then when you're working with other actors, that's kind of going to alter or determine how you continue to develop that character.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of how you learn your lines, how much lines you have and such, that preparation would obviously be a little different. You need to be a little bit more on your P's and Q's with
Right.
that, to make sure that you're knowing what's going on in these different scenes, what time and space this is in, or how, if it's a flashback, those types
Mm-hmm.
of things. But I
Mm-hmm.
think ultimately, like, the foundation for me at least is ultimately the same, and then you kind of build on that.
Build on
Another
that.
big thing for me that I think is a little different than how some of my other acting friends do it, I prepare, but I don't like to over prepare,
Mm.
because I'm sure, like, you've heard before talking to actors and stuff, like, acting is really just being reality. Like, you want to make it as real as
Yeah.
possible.
Right.
And
Right.
so for me, I don't ever like to over prepare. I like to be prepared because I want to leave room for the natural or the
I love
unknown,
that.
or
Yeah.
like
Just what's real.
genuine response.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So some people are very intricate with
Yes.
how they prepare. And then some people, they prepare, but I want it to be as realistic as
I
possible at the
know.
same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, and that comes across
So
in your work too, though. Like, and that's
thank
what
you.
like. No, it does. That genuine. You seem like even just talking to you, like very real, very creative. You like that natural vibe and energy, and I have to ask them, really, like, is there an artist or an actress that maybe inspires you, or is there someone that you wish if you could go back in time and just sit and talk with and pick their brain and pick their knowledge? Like, is there anybody that comes to mind for you, actor, actress, author, any person in history that you feel that you would like to catch some more of that genuine feel, that authentic love from? Anybody captivate you like that?
Yeah, I really, really, really like Viola Davis.
Okay.
I really I like Taraji P. Henson's story, and I think she's well versed at drama. Drama, I love drama. Um, uh, and thrillers. But I like her climb, you
Mm,
know. So I mean, I've heard her talk before a little bit here and there. But I think she would be a good person to kind of, have a conversation with. She's been in the industry for a long time,
yeah,
she's dealt with
yeah,
the highs and the lows and, the ebbs and flows of what goes on in the industry. And she's been on very different types of shows or movies.
yeah,
And so I think she'd be a person that I'd definitely think would be interesting to talk to.
yeah.
Um, but on A Man Called Otto, actually, I played the younger version of Anita, which is
Hmm.
played by Juanita Jennings,
Yep.
and so sweet. She's super super sweet, but she's been in the industry for like ever.
Hmm.
But going back to talking about genuine, and she's a believer also,
Right.
and I think we've had conversations here and there, which was so touching to me. That's a whole story if you want to hear about it. But she actually handpicked me for Otto,
Oh wow.
um, from what I heard.
Okay.
Because I guess who they had picked before, she felt like they did not correlate to what she as a black woman looked like.
Oh wow. Okay.
Um, and so that's a whole nother
That's a
conversation.
whole nother
But
conversation.
that was another God moment for me because for one, Otto was a big deal. It's a Tom Hanks
Hmm.
movie.
Hmm.
Um, all the things. It was the first booking that I ever had to fly out anywhere and be
Oh
put up
wow.
in anything, and for a period of time at that.
I love that.
Um, and so that was a big deal for me. But anyhow, I'm getting off on a tangent.
Yeah, it's okay.
Uh, her just being a genuine person, not only how she is as a human being herself,
Right.
but from the conversations that we've had, that she also, allows that to bleed into her work. I love. And
Wow.
again, go back to what I said earlier, like, we can get a little bright eyed and bushy tailed over people and their accolades and their titles and this and this and that. But excuse me, we ultimately are just all people.
Yeah.
And so it's so important to me in general, to just remember that I'm a person and to just be a genuine person in
Person.
general in my work and
Mm.
separate from that. And I brought
Hmm.
up Miss Juanita because of that. Like, yes, I was playing the younger version of her. I'm in a few flashbacks in the movie playing her. But she actually wanted to talk to me because I never got to meet her.
Wow. Look at that.
Um, and granted, we like to say no small roles, but I mean, yes, it helped carry on the
That's
story,
right.
but she didn't have to do that.
Right. Right.
And a lot of times people don't do that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she took out the time to reach out to me and talk to me, and um, that was really sweet. Every here and again,
I
she's a
love
Virgo
that.
too, so us Virgos got to stick
Virgo
together.
boy. Yeah, we with
But
the Virgo power. Uh
yes,
oh.
but it just was really sweet.
I love that.
And just people being people is beautiful because you don't always see that in this industry.
That's awesome. That's an awesome story, and
Yeah.
it 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 lends to. I mean, when you're talking about like creating stories and you have actors and artists and producers and things reaching out to you and really kind of giving you pouring into your cup, if you will, and really
Yeah.
making you a part because that's very important. But we're seeing a change, Imani, across the industry, even like here with our streaming platforms, such as Two Mics Up and Infusion TV, where there's change in content, if you will, and how it's being distributed, to others. Like, how do you see the entertainment industry evolving, and really, how are you adapting, to these changes as an actress or an artist?
Um, To be honest, I don't really know which way to go with that
Mm,
question.
okay.
Um, I I know a lot of people are really worried about the whole AI situation.
Yes. Yes.
I do have some worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in the sense of AI is crazy. Okay,
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
times it's hard to even know if it's AI or not.
That part.
Um, and honestly, I mean, not to sound super spiritual, but I just give it to God. Like whatever's meant to be is gonna
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
Um, that took me a long time to kind of get on the bandwagon with. I'm a very
Yeah.
impatient person. And again, like this job is a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
And you audition, like literally your job is auditioning.
Yeah.
Um, and either you book or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the end of the day, you can get really caught up in being attached to this or that audition and this job or that job. But if it's meant for me, I've kind of
Yeah.
just settled in that. If it's meant
Yeah.
for me, then it'll be.
Yeah.
And I feel like God gave me this gift and I've gotten this far. Um, Whatever rooms or places that he wants me to be in, like that's where I'll be.
Mm-hmm.
um and so this is my dream, like this is my passion, like I would love to be able to provide for my family with this.
Right.
But I'm just not there yet, and
Right.
who knows if I will ever get there.
Oh, you'll
But
get
at
there.
least I'm still able to I pray that I get there too, but that may
You
not
get
be
there.
in God's plan, I don't know.
And this is
But
true.
but um yeah, I feel like wherever I'm
Whatever it's
supposed
gonna
to
be.
be and whatever is going to be is going to be, and I'm just going to keep pursuing and doing what I can do that's in my control, and
Uh,
kind of letting the rest fall into place. But the other part of your question is I don't necessarily feel one way or another about, well, I guess I do, about all these different streaming platforms.
mm-hmm.
I personally think, if I had to say, it kind of allows people more of an opportunity to get in more places
Yeah.
because it's allowing more creatives to be creative in different
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
We have Hulu and we have Apple TV and we have
Yeah.
Netflix and we have Paramount Plus and we have,
Yeah.
like now all these networks have all these sub networks off of
Yeah.
their network, and they're all creating content.
Right.
Um, and so to me, I think one, it's a lot because
Yeah.
we can't be having all these subscriptions, okay? Um, Really, there's too many of them. But I do think it is a positive in the sense that it allows more creatives to be creatives on different platforms, and it allows more spaces to
Yeah.
create more content.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean,
Uh,
there are highs and lows to
yeah.
all of it.
No, I think you hit it on the head. I'm saying I asked that too because I'm not a huge fan of AI. It's very scary. I'm just being honest.
It
Being a
is
human being
scary.
because I mean it's replacing people and
Yeah.
people who provide a function and that human element.
Mm-hmm.
However, I also understand it because some days you're trying to write something. Sometimes I'm sitting here and I'm trying to write, or I'm trying to think of an idea, or I can't express an idea. So sometimes, I'll just throw a prompt in and it'll give me something back. But it's scary that it can do it just that quick.
Yeah.
With me as a human being, like I know what I want to say, but I can't get it out,
Yeah.
and it's just scary to have to go to that
It's a fine
because
line.
right, and because I feel like by doing that though I'm replacing somebody. So like you got to be
Yeah.
really careful with that. And that's why I actually know from the entertainment side, how that is. And I agree with you.
Yeah.
With the streaming platform, we are allowing a lot of people here on our platform to reach an audience that maybe they didn't or didn't
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
And that I'm proud to be a part of that, especially being a man of color, because the world wants to tell me what men of color can or cannot be, or what we will be or what we won't be. And this
Okay.
allows me to change that narrative. So
Yes.
I am proud of that piece. So I agree with you on that. And Imani, we're on the back end of this kind of time flies so fast
That
when you're
was
having fun.
fast.
It really was, really was. Really enjoyed talking with you and speaking with you. But before we go, I want to allow you to take a moment to share your social media Going to make sure we put that in the show notes and in the commentary so that we can get our audience to go out and get behind you and support you because you're a whole vibe yourself.
Thank you.
You're an amazing sister. And I really appreciate you taking time out today to sit here and talk with us. So take a moment and share your social media with our audience.
Yeah, I am mostly active on Instagram, so it is Emonie Ellison, one word, Emonie Ellison. That is my handle. I also am a real estate agent. That's what I do in my in between time because hey, we gotta
That's
pay
right.
these bills,
I
okay?
know that's right.
But so if you know anybody looking to buy, sell, or invest or lease, hit me up on Instagram. And then also Michael B. Jordan movie Sinners, and Ryan
Come on now.
Coogler movie is coming out on March 7th.
Come on
Key
now.
role is in that.
Come on.
We didn't get to have that conversation. We'll have to have another one.
Hey, yeah, we
But
gonna run it. We gonna run this one back. We just gonna talk about that just by itself. You know you coming back. Yes, indeed.
but March 7th, Sinners comes out. I'm really excited about that one. So catch it near you.
Listen here, y'all. So y'all watch the first part. We're gonna have Imani back because we have to talk about just that alone. Her role and her active part in the film. And please get out and support this sister. Like I say, she's a whole vibe. She's so pleasant, so charming. I really love her energy, her positive vibe. And I want to leave with this, Imani. I'm with you. Whatever God has for you, He has for you.
Yeah.
But you have to put it into the universe. So keep speaking it so
Faith
he can
without works is
receive.
dead.
There you go. So keep speaking it, sister, because you are destined, for bigger and better things. And
Thank
it's
you.
been our pleasure to be able to share part of your story today. Because I'm serious, I'm going to be reaching back out, and whether it be after the New Year's, the holidays, or whatever, we're gonna have you come back and we're gonna talk
I'm
about that.
looking
Okay?
forward to it. Thank you so
Uh,
much.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate it. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This has been another great conversation at Two Mics Up. I'm your humble host, Damon Cunningham, aka Dave D NYDC. Monday nights, Two Mics Up, 8 p.m. Celebrity Talk Show, you know, on the Mogul TV Global Network, the number one network for positive programming. We are now in 45 countries, 100 million viewable subscribers on Amazon and Roku TV. So download the app, like Imani said, because there's a million apps, but get ours while it's free. Because right now
Yes.
we're still free. So
Three
get
ninety
it
nine
while
for the love it.
so get it while it's free on your Amazon or Roku TV device. And check us out, man. Check out the channel. And when I say check out the channel, specifically my channel, which we just started on the Mogul TV Global Network, the Infusion TV channel. We got 5 shows and we're working on 5 more for the new year. So check us out, support us, give us some love, and go ahead and shout us out. Let us know what you think. And like we do at the end of each and every show, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave you with a few things. May you all stay safe, stay blessed. Mike's out.